Blind, have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
This is Patricia Mary, and for the next hour, I will be reading from the Saturday, Sunday, January 3rd and 4th issue of Off Duty from the Wall Street Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. From the front page of Off Duty, what your waiter really thinks of you. This veteran of top New York restaurants has eye-opening info to share. From planning the meal to calculating the gratuity, his pro tips will make you a savvier and more satisfied restaurant guest in 2026. And this is by Adam Reiner. A common refrain in the restaurant industry, especially among disgruntled servers, goes something like this. Every diner should have to work for at least 1 year in a restaurant, akin to mandatory military service. As a former career waiter, I say without hesitation that I would not want to go to war with a battalion of conscripted foodies. Still, I can't deny it would be eye-opening for most diners to walk a mile in their server's shoes, if only to learn how much their feet hurt. When I worked at Manhattan's restaurants like Babbo, Carbone, and The Grill, still some of the city's toughest reservations to get, I understood I was responsible for anticipating guests' needs. Across the hospitality industry, we often preach, think of yourself as a guest. In his bestseller, Unreasonable Hospitality, restaurateur and hospitality guru Will Guidara takes that even further. The subtitle is The Remarkable Power of Giving People More Than They Expect. Industry influencers like Will and Union Square Hospitality Group's Danny Meyer assure us that great service can happen when we show up with nothing but our wallet and an appetite. But I can attest from experience that true hospitality is only possible in the presence of the recipient's grace. That notion inspired my own book, The New Rules of Dining Out, which encourages diners to see things from their server's point of view. Restaurateur Alan Yin, founder and co-owner of the Philadelphia-based High Street Hospitality Group, expects her teams to deliver the best hospitality they can. But she firmly believes that if you want to have a great dining experience, then you have to meet the people serving you halfway, or at least partway. It's supposed to be a collaboration. With the new year upon us, it's as good a time as any to commit to that philosophy. By embracing the basic tenets below, you'll make yourself a pleasure to serve, which is, I promise you, the surest route to a superior dining experience. Think of yourself as a partner, not a patron. As guests, we've been conditioned to think that great hospitality is something that happens to us, not with us. People come in thinking they're paying for an experience, so they don't have to worry about being a good diner, says Max Fulton, a management consultant from Denver who dines out up to 10 times a week when traveling for business. I think that mindset is what gets them off on the wrong foot. It helps if you come in with more openness and curiosity about what's going on in the restaurant. Something as simple as telling your server, "Oh, we're excited to be here," can help disarm criticism and build solidarity. I'm reminded of a quote by the late Warner Leroy, former owner of the New York Tavern on the Green. A restaurant is a fantasy, kind of a living fantasy in which the diners are the most important members of the cast. Entitled guests have main character energy. Mindful ones see the power in playing an ensemble role. Be present is more important than being nice. When I waited tables, kindness was certainly appreciated, but attentiveness mattered much more. I understand that it's difficult in today's digitized world for diners to unplug their devices and lose themselves in the moment, but you can expect restaurant experience to be transportive when you aren't present for the departure. Put down your phone and engage with the staff. The most important thing for a guest is to feel seen, and I think that's true for the service team too. Avoid storyboarding your meals. The same thing that makes restaurants so thrilling can also make them disastrous. Unpredictability. Many diners attempt to mitigate risk by researching in advance and plotting out a meal beat by beat. But when you approach a restaurant visit, you miss out on a critical touch point with the staff that help build rapport. I never look at reviews in advance, says Mish, a psychotherapist and avid diner from Madison, Wisconsin. My husband and I try to engage with the staff to find out what dishes they are most excited about or most proud of. Trust restaurants do things their way. Restaurants can't function without rules. Many guests bristle when they can't be seated as incomplete parties or order appetizers without putting in their main order course. But these rules exist to ensure that the restaurant can uphold its high standards for every guest. Making exception for one person often compromises the quality of the experience for another. Try approaching a restaurant the way you would visit someone's home. I think of the restaurant as the dinner party and the diner as the invitee. Respect the rules of the house. Tipping should be a pleasure, not a burden. As restaurant prices skyrocket, so does tipping fatigue. Unfortunately, many restaurant patrons will perceive tips as leaving something extra for the staff. In most cases, this simply isn't true. The tip minimum wage permitted under law to be lower than the full federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour still sits as low as $2.13 in some states, with the understanding that tips will make up the difference. Foregoing a proper tip means you're taking advantage of the people serving you, who rely on gratuities as their primary source of income. Tipping is not optional in my mind. I also think it's important to map out your tip ahead of time when you're planning the expense of your meal. Don't be upset at the restaurant because the meal was $200 and now you're spending $240 or more because of the tip. That way you arrive with the mindset of being generous. Never tip below 15%, except in cases of gross negligence. Otherwise, an 18 to 20% tip is still considered standard for gracious and attentive service. If the staff goes above and beyond, you should too. Your table is a timeshare. No one likes to feel rushed when they dine out, but running a profitable restaurant is more challenging than ever, a reality that puts pressure on turning tables. Restaurants rent real estate short term, says John Winterman, co owner of the Michelin starred Francie's in Brooklyn. The purchase of food and beverage is necessary to rent that space. Once the transaction is complete, you vacate the space to allow another person to rent it. Earning a reputation as a camper, in quotation marks, or someone who habitually lingers at their table long after the meal is finished, can jeopardize your ability to secure future reservations. Restaurants do keep notes in their reservation systems. Beat the drum for your favorite restaurant. One surefire way to endear yourself to your favorite eatery is to evangelize it for it. Social media can cause restaurants to go viral, but good old fashioned word of mouth is still more effective at filling seats than TikTok is. A great guest takes a personal interest in the restaurant's success, says Winterman. They bring friends and colleagues. They show up in a blizzard. Don't expect to become a restaurant regular overnight. You earn it through loyalty and consistent patronage. Restaurants shouldn't be life changing, they should be life affirming. It's easy to get caught up in the hoopla of Michelin stars and world's 50 best lists, but by making restaurant status symbols, we often forget that their purpose is to nourish and sustain us. When we expect restaurant experiences to be mind altering, we often set ourselves up for disappointment. We're just human beings creating a meal we want people to come together and enjoy, a place to connect around food, said Win. Winterman agreed. At the end of the day, it's just food. From the fashion page, an eyelid lift in your 30s while younger women are getting bleps. Blepoplastics were once reserved for patients in their 60s with droopy lids and impaired vision. Now they're the hottest plastic surgery ask for the under 40 crowd. And this is by Fiorola Bellasolo. When he first started his Manhattan plastic surgery practice in 2007, Dr. Robert Schwartz found that patients seeking a blepoplasty tended to be in their 50s or older. Now they're often decades younger. Dr. Melissa Doff, a plastic surgeon on Manhattan's Upper East Side, reports the same shift. There's been an increase in patients and a decrease in age. In 2025, Dr. Melissa said she even had bladoplasty consultants with 20 somethings. Dr. Abigail Waldman, a dermatologist at Mass General Brigham in Boston, also confirms the trend. The number of young people I've seen on social media getting these procedures is remarkable. Bladoplasty or BLEP, BLEPH, a shorthand once reserved for plastic surgeons and now ubiquitous far outside medical circles thanks to social media, targets excess skin, muscle, and fat on the eyelid, an upper blip, and under eye, a lower blip. The upper tends to address hooding and volume loss of the eyelid, while the lower focuses on puffiness and dark circles or hollowing under the eye, says Dr. Flora Levin, a Connecticut based octoplastic surgeon. Once mainly performed to aid what obscured vision due to excessive eyelid droopiness, the blep has turned increasingly cosmetic. The price, an upper or lower blip, can run from $3,000 to $15,000 depending on the doctor. Patients can get just one. Some opt for both. According to Real Self, an online marketplace for cosmetic treatment providers, bleps were the most searched for procedure in 2025, and the American Society of Plastic Surgeons is ASPS, reports that they have ranked in the top 5 for the past 3 years. What's driving the blep bloom? Transparency online about the surgery has helped demystify the process, says experts. Even high-profile people like gymnast Simone Biles has been open about the experience. Social media has also pushed increasingly younger patients towards the treatment culture of surgical intervention. People see both before and afters, and that drives both education and potential insecurity too, says Dr. Jennifer, a Manhattan optometrist. ASPS President Dr. Bob Basu credits the rise of bleps to the unprecedented amount of people sent, spend seeing themselves on video. Constant self viewing makes eyelid heaviness and a chronicle tired appearance far more noticeable, he says. Watching herself on endless Zoom meetings is what drove Jody Caruso, 40, the head of production at a video production studio in Connecticut, to get an upper lip at 37. I never thought I would get plastic surgery, says Caruso, who opted in after noticing that her eyeliner no longer showed up on her eyes due to drooping. It was an investment, but it was the best decision I ever made. Excessive screen time can also physically affect your eye area, says Tossie. Constant squinting, reduced blinking, and rubbing the eyes due to eye strain can accelerate laxity and puffiness. So can rapid weight gain. A lot of patients are on the GLP-1 nowadays, and when the mid face drops, there's less support for the lower eyelid too, and bags become more obvious. Plastic surgeon Dr. Cami Parsa says that also operating on more men than ever. 20 years ago, when I started practicing, the ratio of male to female was 10 to 90. Now it's 40 to 60, says Kami. Surgeons shouldn't, however, treat male and female eyelids the same, cautions Levin. Typically, men have a straight brow, thicker skin, a fuller upper lid, more prominent fat pads, and less space above the lashes. So when you take out too much skin, you're giving them more lid, which is feminizing, says Levine. A more hooded male lid is often considered masculine. Online, the term used for it is hunter eyes. A blep can feel more approachable than other surgical procedures. It can be performed under local anesthetic. Scars and bruises are discreet and easier to conceal. The time commitment is minimal. The surgery can be done in an hour, and recovery usually takes 2 weeks or less. But it's not without risk. Infection, severe bruising, asymmetric dryness, prolonged swelling, or difficulty closing eyes completely are all possible, and not everyone is a good candidate, despite what your feed might suggest. Melinda Farren, a plastic surgeon consultant and patient advocate known as a beauty broker, worries that social media is persuading a lot of younger women they need a blip. The decision should be carefully considered, she added. This is a procedure where a millimeter makes a tremendous difference. It could really change how you look. Noelle Brewer, 33, says she opted for surgery only after weighing other options. To address the hollowing under her eyes that she felt made her look perpetually exhausted, the Dallas pharmaceutical sales rep tried countless creams as well as non invasive treatment like ultratherapy, thermage, and PRP injections. She was also exploring filler. Last year, she decided to fly to Connecticut for a lower blip with leave-in. Says Brewer, I was just tired of looking tired. You are listening to the reading of articles and features from Off Duty from the Wall Street Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Sorry about the phone call. I am reading from home. Here's another article from the fashion page. Intrigued by eyelid surgery? Consider these non invasive options instead. Wary of surgery, these 12 products and tools, plus expert tips from doctors, might help your lids get a lift. And this is again from Fioroa Solo. While nothing will address a droopy lid or under eye bags as effective as surgery, those who want to avoid the knife have options. Creams with retinol can help with eye ceasing and pigmentation, while those with caffeine can target minor eye bags and swelling, says Dr. Abigail Waldman, a dermatologist at Mass General Brigham in Boston. For a temporary night out solve, discreet eyelid tape can pull up sagging skin, says celebrity makeup artist Daniel Martin. Under eye patches help address puffiness and fine lines. Home microcurrent devices like New Face or ZIIP may subtly fight signs of aging, while doing a home massage with cryosticks moves stagnant fluid to lift and depuff, says New York esthetician Callie. As for volume filling, the buzzing new ingredient that claims to increase fat along the lower lid for a more youthful look, save your money, says Waldman. No cream is going to penetrate deep enough to create fat under the eye. Here, 12 of our favorite tools, creams, patches, and makeup products to consider if a bluff is not in your plans. Slip on this generously sized cushioned silk eye mask to reduce skin creasing around your eyes while you sleep. It's called the Drowsy Royal Blue Silk Sleep Eye Mask, and it sells for $79. And it's great. It's big and blue, and it goes around your eyes, and then it velcros in the back of your head. Here is the clear gel formula which tightens fine lines as it dries in 10 minutes or less. Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firming XI Temporary Eye Tightener Easy Wear Formula. Wow, that's a long one. And it costs $38. A yellow undertone and sheer buildup coverage combat dark under eye circles. It's called the Rodial Banana Low Lighter, and it sells for $49, and it comes in a applicator tube that you brush on under your lids. These nearly invisible strips of gentle adhesive work to temporarily pull up sagging skin. It's called Contours Rex Lids by Design Instant Eyelid Correcting Strips, and for a whole collection of them is $40. A wrinkle fighting retinoid and alpha hydroxy acid without any irritation? Say no more. Skin Better Science IMAX Alpha Ret Overnight Cream, and that costs $130. The only bags left in my life are designers, raved one reviewer on this brand's website. 111 Skin Celeste Black Diamond Eye Mask, and it's $120 for 8 of them. The caviar of cream, this delicate formula promises to lift and tighten La Prairie Skin Caviar Eye Lift, and it sells for $575. Pop these in the fridge to depuff the skin around your eyes. The Skin Gym Cryo Ice Massage Stick. And these are 2 little metal sticks that you put in the freezer and then massage around your eyes, and they cost $70. Collagen, hyaluronic acid, and ceramide help hydrate tired eyes. The Barbara Strum Everything Eye Patches, and they sell for $125. Another $125 is the award-winning go-to for crow's feet, Skin Sensuals AGE Advanced Eye Cream. Packet with caffeine, barley seed extract, and niacinamide to help fight dark circles and puffiness is the BioEffect EGF Power Eye Cream, and it sells for $149. And now we have the pocket-sized microcurrent tool to help combat lines. You get it from the ZIIP Beauty ZIIP Halo. That one is a little pricey at $400, but it's battery operated and it massages and it can massage your whole face. Good luck. For the men on the fashion page, the ideal men's shoes for work and play: mock toe styles. Sharper than a sneaker, cooler than a baroque, these shoes hit the smart casual sweet spot. And this is by Charlie Kobrenner. In 1960s, Carrie Rosenthal first spotted mock toe shoes on Miami Beach surfers who slid their sun-beaten feet into suede Clark wallabies. Today, when the real estate attorney attends a jam band festival in Florida, he often sports soft leather moccasins. And when he heads back to his Miami office, he'll lace up black mock toe derbies from G.H. Bass with dark trousers and a gray sport coat. I dress way more in style than those litigators, says the 68-year-old. He's right. So named for their prominent U-shaped front seams, borrowed from traditional soft leather moccasins, mock toe shoes are back in the spotlight. They might be the ideal smart casual men's shoe for work and play together. Though one can spot the stitching on everything from boots to boat shoes, lately two specific styles have led the way: a chunky derby with extra prominent seams along the toe, and a refined, slim-soled moccasin. Cooler than a baroque, dressier than the sneakers that have become the too casual default, both examples satisfy the current hunger for unstuffy elegance. A mock toe gives away a bit of formality. Takes away a bit of formality, explains Henrik Berg, founder of Swedish shoe brand Morjos, which offers a range of mock toe styles, including a derby, a chukka boot, a hybrid hiking shoe, and a boat shoe in materials such as suede and nubuck leather. You can't discuss mock toe derbies without mentioning Para Boots' Michael model, a heritage French design with swooping seams that dominate in some cool guy cycles in the last 5 or so years. Similar designs can be found at Todd Snyder and Anthony Ver and French label Kalman. Nolan Daniel White, a Toronto-based fashion content creator and consultant, calls Clement Pador's model a great introduction to the style at roughly $200. For a more experimental take, check out the Knock 2 by Japanese brand Playground. Set on a hefty Verb brand sole, the derby swaps traditional laces for wires adjusted by turning a little dial. Men in the market for something more pared back are coveting low-profile moccasins or something similar. Morjos streamlined boat shoes fit into this category, as do Minoto's sub-$100 suede mocks. White praises California's brand Yucatan. Its bulkier moccasins come in material like hornwheel Comsal leather, a high-quality U.S. tanned hide. The City Mock by Swedish luxury tailor brand Saman, MAL, might best exemplify suede modern moccasins, cut from materials such as suede and deerskin and costing around $700. The shoe have sold well since their launch in early 2024, says co-founder Drag Garnath. He said they have been bought by both older dads and cool younger guys. Then men wear the modern uniform of jeans and a shirt jacket Sneakers can skew the look too laid back, but a posh loafer might not make sense, says Garth. A middle ground shoe like a slim mock sits between elegant and casual, he says. Garnath says that he and his co-founder Salman Imil wanted to make a softly constructed moccasin that, when viewed from the side, lay extremely flat against the ground, its toe not curling up slightly, as in the case with many other leather shoes. Emil, he says, is allergic to toe spring. White calls the recent deluge of mock toe shoes a natural response to men's renewed interest in exploring leather footwear a little more. In the past couple of years, many style conscious guys have traded sneakers for loafers, but lots have reformed sneakerheads want to rotate though through other leather takes too. Think of mock toe designs as a pinch hitter for your favorite pair of loafers, says Gian, Nordstrom's men's fashion director. Since these shoes lean fairly understated, they also let regular folks branch out from classic penny loafers, Oxfords, or brogues. White noted that both the chunkier mock toe derbies and sleeker moccasins are easy to style. They look great with trousers, jeans, fatigues, and chinos. I think that versatility is really attractive to people, says Christopher Fenimore, a New York based photographer. Pairs his mock toe chukkas with jeans or chinos and a sport coat or cardigan. Arnath wears his mocks with relaxed corduroy trousers. He thinks the slim shoes contrast well with the florier of wider pants. Though mock toe derbies aren't inherently formal, if they're in dark leather or suede, you can dress them up, says Delon. At a chill wedding, he said you could wear black mock toe derbies with a dark suit and not look out of place. Delon thinks these shoes have only one limit: don't pair them with a tux. From off duty travel, how far does $1,000 take you on a trip to Charleston? We found out. Our writers set out to discover whether this southern gem, with its fancy dining rooms and historic hotels, can be enjoyed on a strict budget. Spoiler alert, you might even be able to afford a rental car. And this is my Matthew Konsberg. For history, scenery, and culinary fireworks, all packed into a tiny footprint, few U.S. cities can compete with Charleston, South Carolina. Most visitors con- concentrate their time and money on the charming, walkable downtown area. But the city's growing popularity has made it more expensive. So then the Wall Street Journal asked me to explore the city with a strict budget of $1,000. I jumped at the chance. Day one, $1,000. My penny pinching had an inauspicious start. From the airport, I shuttled to a discount car rental agency where I uncovered a raft of unexpected fees at more than double the rate I booked online. I could have abandoned the car idea entirely, but I wanted the freedom to roam. I decided to rent a car from Hertz instead for $258, substantially more than I budgeted for, but less than I would have paid for my discount ride. Before reaching downtown, about 30 minutes south of the airport, I stopped for lunch at King Barbecue, known for blending Chinese and Southern barbecued styles. My pork combo and a drink, $37 with tax and tip, came with three meaty red lacquered ribs, a heap of crackling topped chopped smoked pork, and two sides, including the unexpected star of the show, lip tingling Sichuan collard greens. I was tempted to go across the street for a nap at my hotel, the Starlight Motor Inn, built in 1961 and reopened in 2023. I booked it for its time capsule charm, but also because 2 nights would run me just $274, a far less than any comparable digs downtown. Since it was still too early to check in, I shook off the post meal fatigue and drove downtown to the heart of the peninsula and parked on King Street. Over my trip, a mix of meters, lots, and free parking cost me a total of $15. I started with the Preservation Society of Charleston, an organization dedicated to safeguarding the city's heritage. At its shop, I grabbed a copy of Charleston's Blacksmith, the work of Philip Simons, $23, an introduction to one of the city's great artisans. Wandering through the area, book in hand, I sought out places like Stoll's Alley to admire Simmons' wrought iron gates. Next, I stepped into Oliver Pluff's tea shop, which blends historically significant teas like Colonial Bohea, recorded among the varieties tossed into Boston Harbor in 1773. I bought a tin for $17. After checking in at the motel, I ventured back downtown. I skirted the crowds waiting to get into the boozy raw bar Chubby Fish and slipped into Seahorse next door for a fiercely effervescent Paloma, which cost me $23. The nautical decor and dark wood paneling made me feel like I was hiding away in a ship captain's quarters. I booked dinner at a 5 minute drive away at Bitumi El Tire, a tiny restaurant serving African inspired cuisine by Dakar born chef Bitui Diwa. I ordered a stir fry of crab and broken rice with greens and yams. It came topped with a fried soft shell crab drizzled with shito, a Chilean sauce. I followed it with a scoop of ice cream flavored with tamarind like fruit and sprinkled with habanero sugar. The total came to a very reasonable $49. For day two, I had $304 remaining. My day began with a walk to Herbert's Vintage and Coffee, where I had a banana nut muffin and an iced coffee served in a tall, boot shaped mug, and that cost me $11. While researching Charleston's parks before the trip, I'd come across a familiar surname, my own. It turns out the city's director of parks, Jason Konsberg, is my second cousin, whom I arranged to meet for the first time at Waterfront Park. While trading family lore and scandal, he gave me a mini city tour. At tree-lined White Point Garden at the peninsula's tip, city workers were relining paths with crushed oyster shells. He pointed out the newly elevated seawall, which provided both a scenic park walking path and a bulwark against coastal flooding. Next, I paid to visit the International African American Museum, $22.50. A video about the role of faith in the community had me reaching for tissues conveniently placed in the viewing area. Lunch brought me to Hannibal's Kitchen, where I ordered crab rice and Charleston mix, sweet tea, and pink lemonade for $27. At the preserved as found Aiken Rhett House Museum, $16, I walked through a carefully maintained 1820 mansion, which shows how the political elite and the people they enslaved lived. For a lighter diversion, I next drove to High Wire Distilling Company and took a $10 tour. I learned that the distillery makes its bourbon from local Jimmy Red corn, which was two cobs away from the extinction before High Wire rescued it. The back of the distillery unofficially doubles as one of the city's great galleries, displaying the owner's expansive folk art collection from floor to ceiling. I bought a bag of the Jimmy Red cornbread mix for $14 and wrapped up my visit with a cocktail and bar mix made with barbecued spice, cornbread croutons, pecans, pretzels, and crispy chickpeas for $34. I had dinner just a few blocks away at Leon's Fine Poultry and Oyster Shop, where I skipped the champagne offerings in favor of a bottle of ginger ale, a perfect pairing for a half dozen smoky, parmesan topped, charred grilled oysters, two pieces of extremely crispy fried chicken with coleslaw, a rare vegetable siding, and a cup of soft serve. And that cost me $68. Back at the motel, I dropped into the lounge and drank a black walnut tinged old fashioned while a trio played soul classics in the corner. $22, including a tip for the band. I've been hesitant about my decision to stay outside of the downtown area, but as the band conjured up a Charleston of lore, I knew I had made the right choice. Day three, with $80 remaining. A 5-minute drive brought me to Profit Coffee, where among a small crowd of post-school run parents and uniformed sailors from a nearby military base, I enjoyed a coconut cold brew and a slab of pear cardamom focaccia for $17. To further justify my car rental, I drove 25 minutes down to Sullivan's Island, home to Fort Multari. A short hike to the beach afforded views of the starkly angler lighthouse known as the Charleston Light. After a bit of mental math to see how much I had left to spend, I sat at the bar of Sullivan's Fish Camp, newly helmed by Jason Stanhope, one of the city's most acclaimed chefs. The whirling pina colada machine tempted me, but at $15 a glass, it would quickly drain my budget. I opted for a glass of water and spent the money on a basket of cornmeal dusted, locally caught fried fish and shrimp with fries and slaw for $40. On my way to the airport, I filled the gas tank, $19, and stopped to explore North Charleston's Park Circle district. In neighborly Park Circle, a shop focused on local producers and designers. I admired the Smithy's iron skillet and the J Stark eggs, but with just $4 remaining, I left empty handed. Not so at EVO Craft Bakery, where, with my last few bucks, I bought a large chocolate chip cookie, which I devoured on the flight home. What to skip and where to spend. Skip the expensive downtown hotels. Spend on a car so you can explore North Charleston and the beaches. Skip the dinner time oysters, which can go up to $4 each. Spend your shellfish dollars at happy hours, and they are often half off. Skip the expensive horse-drawn carriage tours. Spend on the locally made sub $10 guidebook at the Preservation Society of the Charleston shop. You are listening to reading of articles and features from Off Duty from the Wall Street Journal on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. From the design page, 8 common clutter blind spots and what to do about them. Expired pills, singleton socks, those bland glass vases that come with flower deliveries. Consider this your permission to say goodbye to all. And this is by Christina Poletto. Few of us can avoid the buildup of clutter that accumulates from the medicine cabinet to the sock drawer. Half-used hotel toiletries, bags of potting soil, old magazines, singleton socks. How do these messes multiply? When small bits and bobs start to pile up, it can lead to clutter blindness. explained Leslie Spillman, co-founder of the Decluttered Hub, a British organizational agency with customers worldwide. We just stopped noticing. If January fills you with an urge to purge, consider this your permission slip to evict some oft-forgotten household hobgoblins. Below, 8 to start with and how to bid them farewell for good. Bad medicine. Antiquated aspirin, expired antibiotics. Sorry about the phone call again. Now, bad medicine. We'll get back to antiquated aspirin, expired antibiotics, over the counter, and prescription drugs sometimes outlast the ailment. But take a beat before throwing pills in with everyday trash. You can usually find a drug take back kiosk at your pharmacy or police station, advises social media housekeeping maven Barbara Babs Costello. And you can do brunch with Babs. Just remove labels before they hit the recycle bin. Oh, good idea. Makeup mess. Little Petite, a personal organizer in Los Angeles at Clutter Healing, regularly helps clients clear vanities of excess toiletries and beauty products that are barely used. Petite says charities and shelter often accept items in pump and squeeze bottles as long as the product inside is untouched. Redundant instructions. These days, PDFs for most appliances and gadget manuals live online. For anything you want at the ready, opt for a scanned version saved to your phone, says Costello. Organize the scans by room. That way, when you need a refrigerator manual, you know exactly where to find it. Sentimental threads. Beware the creep of baby clothes, concert tees, and outdated office attire. Organizer Ann Lightfoot of New Jersey's Dunn and Dunn home recommends allowing each person in the house one save forever bin, but the key is to only keep pieces that evoke a memory or story. Ugly mugs. Mugs are small and giftable, which is how we wind up with far more than we need, says Kate Kowalski of Dunn and Dunn Home. A rule of thumb, allow 1 to 2 mugs per person, with 1 or 2 extra for guests. Las Vegas souvenir in the shape of a slot machine? Just let it go. Empty vessels. Amelia Ariema, a public relations associate in New Jersey, loves getting flowers, but their bland, complimentary glass faces now clog prime space under her sink. Costello suggests you fill them with grocery store blooms and repurpose as gifts for friends, teachers, or neighbors. Valentine's Day is coming. Tatty Textiles. It's tempting to throw shabby sheets and towels to the curb, but there are ways to keep textile trash out of landfills, says Petit. Liners can be donated to animal rescues, and Retold, a new recycling company, lets users mail in fabric waste via prepaid packages. As for those stray socks at the back of your drawer, if their mates don't appear after 3 washings, recycle the loners. Endless Ampheria. Jonathan Frogosh of Astoria, New York can't part with his dad's kindergarten report card. While keepsakes are nice to have on hand, if they pile up, Lightfoot recommends making a digital milestone album for things like childhood drawings, awards, and cards. There are, of course, always exceptions. Congrats, you get an A+ for organization. From the rumble seat and Dan Neal, Cadillac gives the electric limo a glow up. Big, bold, sturdy, and stately, the Vescag fills a gap in Cadillac's EV showroom, offering splendid ride quality and optional high capacity charging. From the fevered brow of social media comes the tart phrase aura farming. This finalist for Oxford's 2025 Word of the Year denotes the cultivation of an impressive, attractive, or charismatic persona. It's why I dress like a lion tamer. I'm not sure what that means. If you're looking to grow your aura, consider hitching your wagon to the Cadillac Vistag Electric SUV. It's spelled Vistiq. It's big, sturdy, bold, stately, and sells for $99,415 as been tested. And it's a new model for 2026, filling a hole in Cadillac's EV showroom between the LeCoultre crossover and the vast shadow casting Escalade IQ and extended length IQL. The Vistic shares with the Liquid its 102 kilowatt battery pack, dual motor all-wheel drive, switches and controls. The battery platform formerly known as Ultim. From the Escalade's IQ, it borrows its two-box SUV proportions, pinstripe black carbonate Fizami, and stacked LED lamps. The diamond white pixel performs a little choreographed welcome when the car is activated, like the chasing lights of a Broadway marquee. Cadillac sure do camp it up these days. Escalade IQ and Viscay also share a passion for the fetish footwear. The former can be specified with gun cart like 24-inch wheels. The latter can go as big as 23s. Yet with all box ticked, the sleek Viscay presents less like a baby Slade with a larger version of the Range Rover Sport Malord. The Escalade IQ looks like the coffin of a prized racehorse. The EV market in the US is going through some things. Sorry about the phone call. I guess I'm very popular today. EV sales were down about 3% in 2025, led by the catering of Tesla. But for Cadillac, the transition is going swimmingly. The brand saw its best quarter sales in a decade, partly thanks to our well-groomed friend here. In another timeline, buyers might expect to cross-shop the Vistic with relevant competitors from Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Lexus, and Audi, except there are none in market. The competitive set, the Lucid Gravity, the Rivian RIS, and the Volvo EX90 each have their marketing headwinds. For a lot of older buyers, those names might as well be weight loss drugs. The limitation of GM's technologies are well known. Vestig is rated at 300 to 305 miles of range, depending on trim level. Not bad, not great. The 400-volt battery system has a maximum recharging rate of 190 kilowatts, restoring about 80% of capacity in 45 minutes or less. To drivers used to the splash and dash of gasoline, such wait times seem mental. But it occurred to me while watching people waiting for gas at Costco that the usual yardsticks don't apply. Most EVs, and certainly $100,000 luxury SUVs, will be charged almost exclusively at home in scenarios that make maximum range and charging rates practically irrelevant. Better late than never. Cadillac is taking steps to improve the home charging experience. The Vestig offers an optional high capacity onboard charger plugged into GM Energy Power Shift home charging equipment. The Vestig can add up to 47 miles per hour. With some added bits, the unit is capable of bi-directional charging, allowing your car to act as a home backup battery. Say hello as you approach the Vestig. The interior lights commence their welcome dance. I trust you can turn that feature off. The illuminated door lever pops out of its socket and a puddle-like projects the Cadillac's crest at your feet. Compared to the finger thin latch mechanism, the heft of the door is astounding. Doors this heavy usually have bronze religious scenes on them. After a Mizrahi step in and non trivial tug on the inner handle, the door closes with a rubbery port thump, like copulating toilet plungers. Then a silence like being locked in a bank vault. That's what, swooshing noise? Oh, it's my pulse. After all that, the Vestig likes to drive. I had just taken the con when Mr. Sulu reported, Captain, we're reading an intense gravimetric distribution. Disturbance, too. Very close. Can you identify the source, Mr. Sulu? Sir, sensors indicate it's a ship's battery pack. Music swells, dolling in Kirk's close-up. Yea, it's various ways the gravity well under the floorboards, an estimated 1,350 pounds, dominate the body, engineering, packaging, handling, refinement. The weight penalty includes not only the electrics, but everything it takes to make that mass manageable on the road, upscaling everything from tires and wheels to suspension and steering. Check your social media accounts. Does your Riz need a glow up? Is your vibe unbearably mid? Maybe your aura needs an upgrade. The Vistic is here to help. The base price of the Vistic is $78,790. The price, which was tested by Dan Neal, and it has a plutonium trim, is $99,415. You've been listening to the reading of articles and features from Saturday, Sunday, January 3rd, 4th issue of Off Duty from the Wall Street Journal. We read from Off Duty every Saturday at 6 p.m. Your reader has been Patricia Mary. Thank you for listening. God bless. Be safe out there, and Happy New Year.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have Harper's Magazine. At 8 o'clock, we have Sports Illustrated. At 9 o'clock, we have The Athletic, a section of the New York Times. Stay with us for these readings and more through the rest of the evening. Are you facing challenges with vision loss and need help with your smartphone? The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,